Hi foodie, you're welcome. In this video, I'll be showing you two different ways to make your own sesame oil at home. 2. If you're familiar with cooking Asian food, then you might already know what sesame oil is. It adds this rich, nutty and toasty taste to food that works like magic. Really, a drop or two of sesame oil can bring life to a dish that would otherwise taste flat. If you've ever used sesame oil, then you know what I'm talking about now, so keep watching and let's get straight into making sesame oil. To make this oil, you need sesame seeds. In the southern part of Nigeria, it's called Beniseed, and in the northern part, it's called Ridi. You'll get it in the spice section of a supermarket or where you get your egusi in the local market. The first thing you need to do is to toast the sesame seeds. So you pour the seeds into a dry pan that's already on medium heat and you start tossing the seeds in the pan. You don't want to burn the seeds at any stage of making your sesame oil, so make sure you stir frequently to distribute the seeds and prevent burning. You know the seeds are ready when they start popping and jumping around in the pan, and this is the stage where you add plain vegetable oil to the sesame seeds. Another way to make sesame oil is to not add vegetable oil at all, so you just extract the oil that comes from the sesame seeds alone. This method gives you a very concentrated sesame oil, but the yield is also very low. I mean, as low as just a cup of oil from a full kilogram of sesame seeds. But with this method I'm teaching you now, you get the same concentration as you would with the popular sesame oil brands available in Nigeria. So it's going to be the same concentration as what you've most likely been getting before. So let's continue. Now you fry the seeds in the oil on medium heat for 5 to 7 minutes or until the seeds turn a slightly darker shade of brown. Listen to me now. The longer you fry the seeds, then the darker the seeds look. That's a no-brainer. And the darker the seeds look, the darker your oil is going to look. So you can fry your seeds longer than I did. You can make your seeds look darker than mine looks, but you don't want to burn the seeds. If you burn the sesame seeds, one, you won't get as much oil from the seed itself, so your sesame oil is going to be very faint. And two, the oil will have this very burnt, toasty flavor that you won't like. I'm telling you this from experience, so please don't burn your seeds. So as soon as the seeds are as dark as you want them to be, you turn off the heat immediately and you pour the oil into a safe container. So this is to prevent overcooking and eventually burning, especially if you're using a cookware that retains a lot of heat. So even after turning off the heat, the residual heat in your pot, in your cookware, will keep frying or cooking the sesame seeds, and you might meet it browner than you left it or even burnt. So you don't want that to happen. So you pour the oil into a safe container that can withstand the temperature of the oil. So you definitely don't want to use plastic for this part. Leave the oil for some minutes to cool down, and when it's cool enough for your blender to handle, you pour the oil along with the sesame seeds into the blender and you blend. Blend until the sesame seeds are all broken up, and that should take about 2-3 minutes. It shouldn't take long. And it's at this point you start smelling that toasty, nutty sesame flavor. God, it's so good. So there you have the oil infused with that sesame flavor, but you need to find a way to separate the oil from the rest of the sesame. And I'm going to teach you 2 different ways to do that. The first method of separating is to pour the mixture into a bowl or preferably a clear glass jar. Then you cover the container and leave it standing for several hours until the residue settles at the bottom and the oil stays at the top. The second method, which is a bit faster, is to pass the mixture through a cheesecloth. If you don't have a cheesecloth, you can use a clean light fabric with a tight mesh. It's important for the mesh to be tight, else all the mixture is just going to pass through both the oil and the residue. So you dip the fabric halfway into a jar and you secure it at the top with a rubber band so it doesn't slip back into the jar. Then you pour the blend through the fabric and just let the fabric do the separation. Depending on the size of the container and the fabric you're using, you might not be able to get everything in at once, but the more oil gets into the container, the more space you'll have in the fabric, so you can keep adding the blend until you're all done. After they've both been separated, I will then show you what the oils look like. It's day 2, people, and no, you don't have to wait for a whole day to separate your sesame oil, but the one I left to separate on its own was taking forever, and by the time it separated I was too tired to do a video, so it's the second day now. Now, as you can see, this is the one that I separated with the cheesecloth, and the other one I left it to separate on its own. With the cheesecloth I was done in about 30 minutes, and the one I left to separate on its own took, I think, 14 to 16 hours. I wasn't watching closely, but somewhere between 14 to 16 hours, so that's a long time. If you don't have that kind of time, just use the cheesecloth or nut bag to separate the oil. And if you don't have a nut bag or cheesecloth, then you have to wait for the oil to settle on its own. If you're curious what the residue looks like, then this is it. It tasted toasty, a bit salty, and it's really good. We had it with bread, and if you can think of anything else that will go with this, I would love to see that in the comments. Now, store the oil in bottles or jars, and that for this is how to make your own sesame oil at home. If you love this video, please consider checking out the other videos on my channel. Give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, share on your WhatsApp status, share in your WhatsApp groups on Telegram, Facebook, Instagram. It really helps the channel grow. Also, let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't done that, please subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.